Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Mike's MMA Picks Fight Morning Quick Card Breakdown Show, brought to you by BetDSI, as well as MMA Oddsbreaker. We have UFC Vegas 13 on our hands, where we have Thiago Santos taking on Glover-Teixeira. Very excited about that contest. 5 rounds. Don't think it'll hit the scorecards. Should be interesting. Let's burn through this breakdown. First up, we have Gustavo Lopez taking on Anthony Birchak at 135 pounds. Haven't seen Anthony Birchak in quite some time, although he's bounced around in a number of organizations over the past few years. Was in Ryzen, Combate, former Arizona Grand Canyon University wrestler, not ASU, but he has a wrestling background, 15-6 overall record, 8,200 in DK, minus 105 at the betting window. The other side of the fight, you have Gustavo Lopez, minus 125, betting favorite, $8,000. Combate fighter, 11-5 record for Lopez. Lopez fought Merab Dvalishvili in his UFC debut, made a decent account of himself in that bout, would not go away. So you watch the way Lopez fights. He has a jiu-jitsu background and wrestling background. I believe he's a brown belt out of Extreme Couture. And he's had Brian Caraway in previous corners. Gritty, really reminds me of Pedro Munoz, his build and the way he gets things done inside the octagon, although we haven't seen the guillotine chokes out of him. He has had a Von Flue choke, though. This fight, very interesting, closely matched fighters. Birchak is a very well-rounded fighter, been around the block. I think Lopez on a full camp here is going to be a little bit more aggressive, especially down the stretch, and his get-up game is pretty good. I mean, you saw what he did against Dvalishvili, and in other fights he's shown a solid get-up game. So I'm going to be picking Lopez in a very closely matched bout. That fight, by the way, is not expected to go to a decision at minus 165. Second fight of the night, we've got Max Griffin taking on Romanov-De Lima. Brahima, a Fortis MMA fighter, 7,700 in DraftKings, plus 105 underdog. This line has closed significantly. Max Griffin, 15-8 record, hasn't seen much success in the UFC lately. 8,600, pretty big price tag for Griffin. Minus 135, betting favorite. This is Griffin's 10th UFC bout. Fighting out of California, coming in with a significant reach advantage, a 3-inch reach advantage. In the previous fight, you'll also notice that Birchak had a 3-inch reach advantage. So Griffin is a dog. He will come out, and wherever the fight goes, he seems to be willing to engage. Has never been submitted in his entire professional career. Brahima, that's what he's going to be looking to do here. He's looking to take Griffin down, hopefully lock up or get into mount position and lock up a submission. If Brahima is unable to do that, I see Griffin being the larger, more explosive fighter who could potentially drag this out into a war. Most of Griffin's fights end up being wars, and I'll be picking Max Griffin to win a closely fought decision, though it could get very hairy early. If Brahima is able to get it done, he's going to most likely get it done early. So keep an eye out for that if you're composing DraftKings lineups. Interesting fight, but I'll be picking Griffin. Next up, we head to the third fight of the night, where we have 145-pounders. We've got Darren Elkins taking on Eduardo Garagorri. Garagorri, Uruguayan fighter, 31 years of age, 13-1 record, took a loss to Ricardo Ramos. Last time we saw him, 7,500 in DraftKings. He's a plus 205 underdog. And then you have Elkins, who is really, honestly, it's the corpse of Darren Elkins. He's been that way for a number of years now. 8,700 in DraftKings, minus 255 at the betting window. The thing is that this version of Darren Elkins may be enough to get the job done and to put Garagorri on his back and hold him there. There's a huge difference in grappling skills in this matchup. Garagorri, he's going to be fighting his ass off to stay off the ground. He does have what it takes, though, on the feet to get Darren Elkins out of there. Elkins coming off of a war against Landwehr. You look at Elkins, he's fought decent competition in the past. I go back to the Dennis Bermudez fight where it was a controversial fight, but you saw against an explosive fighter, he's able to nullify their game and just wrap them up, take them down, and basically implement his will on opponents. And Garagorri is going to be a fish out of water when this hits the ground, and I suspect it will hit the ground. So I'll be picking Darren Elkins to win, though it would not surprise me one bit to see Garagorri put Elkins' lights out. There are no certainties in this game, but as far as percentages go, I think the more likely outcome here is a Darren Elkins decision. Next up, wow, heavyweights. This is a fight that I've really been looking forward to. Alexander Romanov, King Kong, taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. De Lima, 7,200 in DK, plus 355 underdog. This line has it's widened and continues to widen. De Lima is a blown up light heavyweight, now tipping the scales, looking like an old man out there. Brazilian striker, 35 years of age. Romanov, $9,000 in DraftKings, minus 475 betting favorite. Sumo background, fascinating. You rarely see that. 12-0 from Moldova. He's a brute. You look out for the suplex. You look out for him pushing a pace that I don't think De Lima is going to be able to keep up, especially if this goes longer than 3 or 4 minutes. We should see De Lima start to wilt and fall apart. The problem is Romanov has yet to face serious adversity. He's fought some cupcakes on the regional scene, and we know De Lima can pack a serious punch. So as far as this fight goes, De Lima is dangerous early on if he's able to land powerful punch. He could put Romanov down, though I think the more likely outcome in this spot is Romanov tossing De Lima all over the octagon, racking up a tremendous amount of DraftKings points en route to either a ground and pound stoppage or submission victory. This fight is not expected to go to a decision. This line exploded to now minus 800. I think we're going to see Romanov win this fight inside the distance. Next up, we have closely lined fight where we have Bevon Lewis. Haven't seen him in a while. This fight takes place at 185 pounds. He's taking on Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles passed out last time while he was making the walk to the octagon to face Kevin Holland. Trevin Giles, $8,000 in DraftKings, minus 105. And on the other side of the fight, you've got Lewis, 8,200, minus 125 betting favorite. Lewis, 29 years old, came in and had a lot of steam on him, hyping him up at a Jackson Wink. You watched the fight against Darren Stewart, and that really brought in some question marks. You watched the Uriah Hall fight. He got dropped in that fight and taken out of there. I am worried about Lewis and his striking defense against somebody who has a striking pedigree of Trevin Giles. Giles throws straight punches right down the pike, and that they could potentially cause Lewis problems. He didn't want to exchange with Townsend last time out, and I don't think he'll want to do the same here. It looked like Lewis had a significant size advantage in the weigh-ins. This is a very closely lined fight. I wouldn't go out of my way to make a play on this, but I'm going to be picking Trevin Giles to win a decision. I see Lewis trying to work Giles, drain him against the cage, and I think that Giles, when they are at range, is going to be landing just a little bit more. Recency bias, you gotta take that into consideration too. Both of these fighters have not looked good recently. Next up, we have Giga Chikadze taking on Jamie Simmons. This fight is at 145 pounds. Simmons has fought as low as 135 pounds in previous bouts. Interesting fight, 6,900 plus 535 underdog. Simmons, one thing about, you look at the camp he comes from, he does train with some lanky fighters who have long reaches like Ode Osborne and also Montel Jackson. He's a wrestler by nature, and Chikadze, we know the Glory kickboxing background, really did a number on Omar Morales last time out, put that narrative to bed regarding who was the better striker and kickboxer, as well as mixed martial artist out there. Chikadze, 11-2 record, 9,300 in DraftKings. He's got a very high price, and you'd look at the odds for him to win, minus 885. Big reach advantage here. The experience advantage. This is a guy who has over 20 knockouts on the kickboxing scene. Simmons, he's a wild man out there, and you watch his fights, he's dangerous, and I wouldn't want to play that minus 800 line. You look at the inside the distance odds, this fight is not expected to go to a decision at minus 245. Chikadze's been searching, hunting for that finish inside the UFC, hasn't seen it yet. There is a possibility Chikadze ends up on his back for a significant amount of time. I see Simmons coming out and selling out for the takedown here. He's going to have to if he wants a shot, or else he's going to get picked apart and dropped. We've seen Simmons, he's taken losses in the past where he's been dropped, I believe by a knee a couple of fights ago. This spot, though, Chikadze, it's a risky play to pay up in DraftKings for somebody at this price tag, and there are some better options out there, but if you do want to take a chance, Chikadze should put up high volume and put the finishing touches on this one if he's able to avoid being grounded for a significant amount of time. But give me Chikadze to win this fight. Next up, hotly debated contest between Claudia Gadelha and Gadelha-Yan. Gadelha-Yan from China, fighting out of China top team, 8,300 in DraftKings, minus 165 betting favorite. She has spent this camp since the last fight was postponed at Team Alpha Male. That's something to be aware of. She's probably been working on her takedown defense, though there's only so much you can do in a few months when you're facing somebody who is the caliber of Claudia Gadelha, the youngest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt out of Nova União. Gadelha, 31 years of age, 7,900 in DK, plus 135 underdog. You watch Gadelha, she is, I mean, look at her record, 18-4 record, though she has been slowing down lately, and she does look stiff on the feet. She's very dangerous early, and there is the potential for her to land takedowns and control Yan on the ground, especially throughout the first round. The second round, I do have concerns about Gadelha's gas tank. She has a tendency to slow down, get stiff, and get out-volumed. I know she did her camp out in Vegas this time around, and I'm not sure if she's going to be able to address the cardio issues. She looked just as she did in previous matchups on the scale. And I'm going to be leaning with Gadelha-Yan in this spot. I think that her output, if she's able to maintain separation, I think that's going to be a difference maker in this spot. And I'll be picking Gadelha-Yan, though there is potential for Gadelha, although she has only submitted and finished one opponent since her UFC run began in 2014. There is potential here for her to finish Yan by submission. I won't be banking on that, though. I'll be picking Gadelha-Yan to win. Next up, we head to 185-pound division where we have middleweights. Ian Heinisch taking on Brendan Allen. Another closely lined fight where we have Brendan Allen, only 24 years of age, minus 125 betting favorite, 8,400 in DraftKings, taking on Heinisch, 7,800, minus 105. Interesting. Heinisch has bounced around from camp to camp this time around in preparation for the bout. Allen, black belt in jiu-jitsu. We've seen he is on the rise and got caught by Daukaus a few times in his last bout. Can get sloppy out there. We saw in the Holland fight. There's been a few fights out there that he it's just his game isn't complete yet. The Tom Breeze bout, very, very impressive, the way he was able to control Breeze and get him out of there. In this spot, Heinisch, it's hard to pick against Heinisch here because he has such solid submission defense, and he's a bulldog. You know that the guy is a survivor, and in the smaller octagon, it's going to become a war of attrition, especially if Allen isn't able to maintain top position and secure a submission. I see Heinisch changing gears the later this fight goes. Something to mention also, Allen, he is evolving, and at 24 years of age, he's still growing, and there's the possibility that he could have even gotten better between his last fight and this fight. Big reach advantage for Allen, though he doesn't have the slick striking that you'd want against somebody who's facing Heinisch. This fight's going to be a war. You watch the weigh-ins, both of these guys were eyeing each other up, ready to get at it. I'll be picking the underdog here, Heinisch, to win. I just think that if Allen is able to be picked off, this may be another spot against a grizzled veteran in Ian Heinisch. Though I'm not doing that with a lot of conviction. This is a very closely lined fight, and I think Heinisch has what it takes to get a gritty decision in that fight. Next up, we're in the main card. We've got Gadelha-Taha taking on Raoni Barcelos. Barcelos, very impressive last time out versus Said Nurmagomedov. We know how good Nurmagomedov is. 9,100 in DK, minus 370 betting favorite. I do think this line is a little bit wide. 35 years of age, great jiu-jitsu, excellent wrestling for Barcelos. Coffee's great this morning. Then we've got Gadelha-Taha, 27 years of age, 7,100 in DK, plus 270 underdog. You look up and down the card at underdogs here, and this is a wide line, though I think Taha has what it takes to survive for a while out there. This fight's not expected to go to a decision at minus 155. The knockout of Boston Salmon. Man, Boston Salmon, you watch, I'm worried about that guy's career and how he's considering continuing fighting. But he was knocked out in that fight. Then Gadelha-Taha was able to submit Bruno Silva last time out. Very impressive against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt last time. Taha is a gamer. He will look to scramble out of positions, and he's got heavy punches. Fought in Ryzen. Barcelos, though, 15-1 record, is a he's a dog, man. This guy, the deeper the fight goes, he comes out that he does not play around. I'll be picking Barcelos to win, though. Taha is one of those fighters you look up and down the card, and he does have the potential to stun Barcelos on the feet. Give me Barcelos. Next fight, we have the co-main event of the evening where we've got Andrei Arlovski taking on Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser, 8,900, minus 315. Betting favorite. This line has slowly widened throughout the past couple of weeks. Andrei Arlovski, cardio machine, 41 years of age now, 7,300 in DK, plus 245, coming in with a bit of a reach advantage. And also, if you watch the weigh-ins, you saw that he also has a significant size advantage over Tanner Boser. 29-19 record for Arlovski. That is correct. He suffered 19 losses so far. And then on the other side of the fight, Boser, 19-6-1. Boser has not fought, has not sniffed one iota of the competition that Arlovski has fought. Boser, though, did come out and destroy Pessoa as well as Felipe Lin's the Gagne fight, the Cyril Gane fight. You watched that fight, and the defensive striking display that Boser put on, that was an eye-opener for a lot of folks. The way he hung in there against such a solid striker. Now, both of these guys are very similar in their approach to the fight game. Arlovski does have more of he could potentially wage a grappling war if he chooses to, though Boser is so damn quick out there. You watch that mullet flop around, and potentially I see the speed of Arlovski. I think that's going to be something to look out for. I think Boser's just going to be a little bit quicker out there. I think that Arlovski, at some point, he's going to show his age. It hasn't happened over the last few fights, besides maybe the Rosenstruck fight. Got caught by that left-hand hook. Boser, in my eyes, has what it takes to finish this fight. If he's able to catch Arlovski coming in, Arlovski's going to look to move and stick and move and stick and move and repeat that throughout the course of this bout for 3 rounds and showcase his cardio again. Though I think Boser is going to, if he's smart about this, he's going to wade in with some leg kicks to slow Arlovski down. That's one way to do this. We haven't seen many people try to pull that off, and Boser came in pretty light for this bout also. I think he came in less for this bout than he did in his previous fights, which was, this is a trend here. He's very, very quick. So I'll be picking Tanner Boser to win, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to shut Arlovski's lights off. Main event of the evening, folks, where we have Thiago Santos taking on Glover Teixeira. This fight's not expected to go to his decision at minus 350. And I believe that will widen, getting closer to fight time. 7,400 in DK for Teixeira, plus 195 underdog, 41 years of age. Now, he's not taking on a spring chicken in Santos. Santos, 21-7 record, 8,800 in DK, minus 240 betting favorite. In other breakdowns, I haven't heard folks really harp on the fact that Santos is coming off of major knee surgery. He blew out his knees in the John Jones fight. He's going to be 37 years old coming up. Relies heavily on leg kicks to keep opponents honest and at bay. Glover Teixeira does not have great striking defense. He can be had early in fights, and that is a real possibility that Santos tees off and takes Teixeira out of there. I will say that Teixeira is a student of the game. I've seen him corner in Bellator and mentor younger fighters, and he's going to make a great teacher and sensei for his students. In this bout, though, if Santos isn't able to get Teixeira out of there with strikes early. You saw what Eric Anders was able to do. You saw what Vicente Luque was able to do. You saw what David Branch was able to do. Santos is not invincible. And you can go back to the Teixeira-Gustafsson fight. This goes both ways. Teixeira's had a lot of success against younger fighters. He's been backed against the wall, right on the verge of defeat, and then he turns the fight around. I don't think he's going to have that luxury in this spot. If he gets caught by one of Santos's hammers, he could have his lights put out. But I will say this, if this fight hits the mat, you know that Glover Teixeira has a tremendous wrestling advantage here, and also looked like he came in great shape. I wouldn't put too much stock into that, but I see that Teixeira is the better grappler, much better grappler. And I think this fight is going to last a little bit longer than most people think. And the longer that happens, the higher chances we see Teixeira walking away with the victory. So early, it's going to be Santos, and then later, Teixeira. I'm going to go with the old war horse here. I'll be picking Glover Teixeira to win, though it is a dangerous spot here. And I think that Teixeira is going to win this fight, possibly by submission late. So that's all I have for you folks here. I want to wish everybody a tremendous fight day. You can follow me on Twitter at MikesMMAPicks. You can check out my plays at MMA Oddsbreaker Premium. You could follow me also at betmma.tips. And don't forget to go out and get what's yours, my friends. This is a great day for fights. This is why we do what we do, baby. Have a tremendous day and go get what's yours.